LRC KJHAM, Legal Resource Center for Gender Justice and Human Rights, is an NGO that works with poor, marginalized, and vulnerable women in fighting for gender justice and women's human rights. Our challenges are the existence of policy of enforcement of community restrictions has impact on activities that ultimately must be carried out online, included in the work of eliminating violence against women. So that is not optimal, especially in handling cases and empowering vulnerable women's groups. Companions for victims and community assistants who are vulnerable to being exposed to COVID-19. And then women's groups are left out in the development planning process and other decision-making forums. And then it takes time to adopt, to use digital platforms as a strategy during the COVID-19 pandemic so that the work of fulfilling women's human rights continues. And then barriers to handling cases stop at the counseling process. Victims are asked to find evidence on their own. Cases of sexual violence are reconciled. Victims are married to perpetrators facilitated by village heads, school principals, and the police. Victims of sexual violence are expelled from school and work. Victims of sexual violence are blamed, and strengthening new strategies and innovations to strengthen access to justice for women during the COVID-19 pandemic, like expanding access to complaint services for cases of violence against women, expanding access to complaint services for cases of violence against women through online legal consultation, then develop women's education strategies through live broadcast program on social media channels like on Instagram and Facebook, then opening public participation to participate together in realizing gender justice through the Donation for Justice. So this is the name of our donation program. And then overseeing the implementation on integrated criminal justice system for handling cases of violence against women. Then strengthening the community movement and participation in efforts to eliminate violence against women through Prelog Sintas. So this is the development program of Prelog Sintas, namely the development of flood response program for donation of used clothes. Then online discussion to advocate for the bill on the elimination of sexual violence with networks both at national and local levels. Some good practices that LRC KJHAM did. First, LRC KJHAM will continue to maintain its consistency and commitment in realizing and advancing the fulfillment of rights of victims of violence against women. Then LRC KJHAM also will continue to work with groups of poor, vulnerable, and marginalized women in developing strategies and innovation in realizing gender justice and human rights through legal assistance, counseling, support group, policy advocacy, advocating SDGs, and monitoring the issues of women's rights and other human rights issue, for example, like natural resource issue. Then LRC KJHAM will strengthen a digital platform as a media for making social changes in the society. And then LRC KJHAM will develop fundraising and strengthening the work of eliminating violence against women.